Hi, my name's Amber and I'm Year 12 and I take Geography as well as 3D Art and Design and Maths.
Hi, my name's Rebecca. I also in Year 12 and I also study Geography as well as Media Studies and Art Photography.
I chose Geography because I really enjoyed it at GCSE and I wanted to expand my knowledge at A-level. As well, it will complement many of my future aspirations.
I chose this subject because I also enjoyed it at GCSE and because the analytical and judgmental writing links into my other subjects.
So far, out of the course, I enjoy coasts the most as I get to learn about the different coastal landforms and the coastal processes, and it explains it more in depth from when we learned it at GCSE.
So far, I've enjoyed the tectonic hazards and processes that we're learning about, specifically the plate tectonic theories that don't get covered at GCSE.
My future aspirations is to travel the world and study either architecture or some sort of art and design at a foreign university abroad. And geography will complement this well because it learning about topography and different hazard resistance fits in really well with architecture.
My future aspirations is to travel the world as a location scout working for film crews and cinematographers, and this course will support those aspirations as I will have a better understanding of locations and geological formations that can be used.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you find our geography teacher's presentation informative.
At Barnwell School, we study the Edexcel syllabus at Geography A-level, which flows along very nicely from the Edexcel syllabus we also study at GCSE. There is an equal mix of human and physical geography within the syllabus that we teach. The A-level is formally assessed at the end of year 13, and you'll be expected to sit 3 different exam papers. Paper 1 represents 30% of the final qualification, Paper 2, 30% of the final qualification, and Paper 3 is 20% of the final qualification. The examination may include short, open, or open response and resource-linked questions. The examination also includes 12-mark and 20-mark extended writing questions, and you are allowed to use a calculator. You'll also see there's something called the NEA here, which represents 20% of the final qualification, and Mr. Smith will talk about this a little bit later in the presentation. Paper 1 focuses on physical and environmental geography. In Year 12, we study dynamic landscapes. This includes 2 main topics: tectonic processes and hazards, and coastal landscapes and change. In Year 13, we study physical places and sustainability, and this includes the water cycle and water insecurity, and the carbon cycle and energy security. We study with each of these topics the physical processes and features. We then apply what we've learnt to the real world, considering impacts of these processes and how to actually manage their impact on people and place.
During Year 12, for Paper 2, we focus on the Dynamic Places unit of work. We begin by following a unit of work about regenerating places, which is all about how and why places actually vary. Why might regeneration be needed? How is the regeneration managed, and how successful is that regeneration? We'll cover a number of different contrasting examples, including an in-depth local case study where students, in actual fact, are the local experts. We then move on to look at globalization, in which we build on prior learning from GCSE, and we will question things like, what is the cause of globalization and why has it accelerated in recent decades? We'll question what the impacts of globalization are for a range of different countries, different groups of people, as well as their cultures and their physical environments. And we'll also need to consider the consequences of globalization for global development and the physical environment, and how should different key players and stakeholders respond to its challenges. For human systems and geopolitics in Year 13, we begin by studying migration, identity and sovereignty. Again, this builds on prior learning from GCSE to do with population and migration and so on, and cities and things like that. And we'll begin to question in a lot more detail the impact of globalization in all of its forms on international migration. So there's a clear link to your learning from Year 12 also. We'll question how nation states are defined and how they have evolved in a globalizing world, and what the main impacts of the global organizations are on managing global issues and conflicts. What are the threats to national sovereignty in a more globalized world will also be questioned in detail. That then opens up our final unit of work, which I believe is probably the most exciting part of our human geography aspect to A-level geography. When we look at superpowers, we dig really deeply into the world of geopolitics at this point. We'll question what superpowers are and how they have changed over time. We'll question what the impacts of superpowers are on the global economy, political systems, and the physical environment. We'll look at and question the spheres of influence that are contested by different superpowers and what the implications of this are for us all around the world. We will really dig down into how different countries influence each other and why, and what their outcomes will be.
The specification contains 3 synoptic themes within the compulsory content areas. The themes are players, so people and groups who are affected by the processes that we study, attitudes and actions, so different opinions held by different groups of people and their different responses to different issues, and futures and uncertainty, so what we could potentially expect in the future. The synoptic investigation will be based on a geographical issue within a place-based context that links to the 3 synoptic themes and is rooted in 2 or more of the compulsory content areas. The exam, a written exam, will be based around a resource booklet which contains information about the geographical issue. So, for example, the year before last, the paper was about the impact of tectonic hazards on development. So all questions in this examination draw synoptically on knowledge and understanding from the compulsory content drawn from different parts of the course. So it's a real way of pulling everything together.
Students are required to complete 4 days of fieldwork. This is normally as part of a residential which students should consider as a field skills training course towards their NEA planning. As students usually choose NEA topics such as regeneration and coasts, these are our focus topics for fieldwork training. Though lessons will support students' work, students are expected to plan, research and carry out their own fully independent investigation. Students have the freedom to choose their topic, to set their own title and to select suitable methods to enable a successful NEA. This really is excellent preparation for the independence of higher education. Geography is a facilitating subject, which means our students are highly respected by universities and employers alike. This is due to the broad topical focus of A-level geography, the academic rigour involved and the highly analytical and evaluative transferable skills developed. Geographers are high in demand. The word cloud can only begin to suggest the careers open to you, alongside the multitude of management opportunities offered by major companies.